Okay, welcome to this video for my Starmore milling machine that I've repaired over the years. It's all fully working and works perfectly well from both the front control panel and from the PC. So what we'll start off is just a quick walk around. Okay, having a look at the front control panel, got emergency stop, some push buttons, an LCD panel which gives you a DRO, and then some more buttons, and then the jog wheel. You've got the actual physical table. You can see the stepper motor there. There's two stepper motors inside the actual machine, between it and the control box, and then you've got the spindle drive which drives the spindle over here. And that's the control box at the back. On this side you've got the power button, and on that side you've got the RS232 link which is coming over from the PC. So the PC currently is not running the software, so what we need to do is we need to switch on. So switch on. Nothing much happens. If we have a look down here, the cycle hold buttons come on, and it says Denford Starturn F2 for test. Now there's a whole lot of tests that you can run through. I'll show you one, which is the easiest one to actually see on a video, which is the LEDs. So if I press that and then press F1, it runs the test, and you can see Christmas lights. So that's it running there. There are other tests for testing the jog wheel, for the buttons, various other things. So if I come out of that, go back to 8, come out of there, and basically the next thing we need to do is put the drives on, and then from there we need to datum the machine before we do anything else. Okay, so if you have a look at that, you should be able to see Z coming up and then going back down again, and the Y coming towards us, hitting the limit switches and then moving back off them, and finally the X. Now you'll notice on the it says moving to the datum. Once it's done that, it brings up the DRO. Now what I'm going to show you now is the spindle drive moving. So if I go to here and press spindle on, you have a look over there, you'll see the spindle moving. Now what I can do is, using the jog wheel, I can increase that, and you'll notice on the DRO the RPM will start to go up. So what I'll do is I'll do this quickly, and we'll go up to 3,200, which is the maximum speed that this can go to. And I'm sure you can hear the spindles going at a hell of a rate now. And that's the spindle over there. So we've got to our 3,200 odd. And if I go the other way, you should be able to hear the note of it changing as it slows down. You can see on the DRO, you can see it changing there. Okay, so that's that. I'm just going to switch it off now, switch the spindle off. Next thing I'm going to show you is the movement of the axes. I'm going to put it on fast, because if you don't put it on fast, I'll show you now, with like X. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's it moving, but it's only moving a step at a time, so you can't even see it. Now, I'll put that onto fast, down here, and then put onto X, and now you should be able to see this move. Now if you bump into a limit, it'll switch the light off over there. So let's have a look at the Y. So that's the Y there. If you come back this way, you bump into a limit, it switches the light off. You can see. We'll have a look at the Z. Okay, and there you can see the Z axis moving. Okay, so that's the different things that you can do from the front. You could try and control it by hand rather than by CNC, but really that's not what the machine's intended for. So moving on swiftly, I'm going to put this onto remote on off here. Okay, we'll press remote on off, and now it says running from host computer. By the way, that acts as a DRO, and you can actually, when you're moving the X, Y, and Z's, you can actually see the DRO on that moving as well. Okay, so we'll come across to my trusty Pentium 3. There she is. Over there you can see the serial connector. I'll fire up the software and you'll be able to see those lights blinking when I do. Okay, so there we go. I've got a shortcut up here that's running Windows 98. You can run 95 as well, or DOS 6.22. It seems to work fine under all of those. Okay, so that's the screen. That's actually a graphic representation of the block of metal that you'd be cutting, and then that's the table there. And you can run your G code, and your G code runs down here. So we're not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the control of the machine from the actual computer. So basically, first thing we're going to do, press F10, and I want to go to machine control, and basically it'll initialize, and then it makes connection over there, and basically what it's asking us to do is drive to a datum. Now, as I said, the serial connection, you can just see those LEDs flashing over there. Okay, so first thing we need to do is drive to datum, so I'll scroll across, hit that. It asks me which tool is in the machine. I'm going to put 0 because there isn't one. And now, I don't know if you can see that, the X is, the Z is coming up and then going back down again, and then Y comes forward and goes back again, and X heads away from us and then back towards us as it datums. Okay, now to show you some movement, I'm going to do an X move, but before I do that I'm going to show you the feed rate change, because at 100 millimeters a minute you're not going to see all that much. So hit that. I'm going to put that up at 900 millimeters a minute and go for an X move. Well, we can go between 0 and 160. So I'm going to go to 80. 80. Hit enter, and there you can see the X-axis moving. Okay, now we're going to do a Y move. Hit that. So between 0 and 90 I'm going to choose 45, hit OK, and there you can see the Y moving. And finally a Z move. We can go between 0 and 150, and I'm just going to choose 70. We'll go to 70 and hit enter, and there you can see the Z moving. Okay, next thing I'm going to show you is the spindle. So I'm going to do a start spindle. Hit that. It's going to ask me what I want, what speed I want. I'm going to tell I want 2000 RPM. I'll hit OK, and you can see the spindle slowly but surely spinning up. And there we go. It's at 200 RPM, and I'll do a stop spindle. And there you can see the spindle slowly but surely shutting down and then switching itself off. Okay, if I come out of there quickly, F10, I'll show you basically a couple of other things. You've got edit, so that you can edit your G-code programs. You've got edit and simulate, so you can actually, if you hit that, it brings up the simulation block to show you. And if you put a G-code file in, it'll cut the path and you can watch it and make sure that it's doing everything correctly. You've got simulate only, where you just load up the file and press go and off it goes. Then you've got machine control, which we were in. CNC files, that finds the files that you want to actually upload to the machine and show. Then you've got your print. Rarely this is not of much use because my machine isn't connected to a printer. You've got the remote link, which is you can send stuff across that, and the settings for the whole program. You've got a couple of utilities, and then quit. So I'm going to come out of there, and I'm going to hit quit and enter, and we come back to the PC, home, the desktop. Anyway, that's enough for me, and I think I've reached my limit. So, goodbye.